This is Everyday Heroes, stories of hope. Real people, real moments, and the connections that save lives. Brought to you by Medical Alert Foundation.
Well, hey, Itzel, I appreciate you taking the time to join Shannon and I today. We're thrilled to have you on this campaign. It's just been awesome. We've been learning a lot. We've been really enjoying your content. I have some questions that I'd love to ask you about the campaign, but before so, I'd love to learn a little bit more about you and, how you ended up being, a first responder. Can you tell me a little bit?
Yeah, of course. So I am a police officer. I've been on patrol for, I want to say, a little over 6 years now. I'm based in California. I was born and raised here, Bay Area to be more specific, which is in Northern California. I am the youngest of 5 girls. There's no brothers in my family. So you can imagine a house full of women, how that might have been. Both my parents are from Mexico. I'm Mexican American. But since like a young age, I was always very much like a go-getter. I was always into sports. I was always like, I need to get good grades in school. I need to be like, quote unquote, a standout and not just kind of be in the background of stuff. And I think that kind of transitioned into when I decided that I wanted to become a police officer, because in high school, I knew I wanted to go to college, and I knew by then I was very interested in the criminal justice field. So I knew my degree, I wanted to get my bachelor's in criminal justice. In this case, I went to community college first for 2 years. And from there, I transferred to the University of California, Irvine, which is in Southern California. And I was very fortunate to go there because at that time, I don't know where it is right now, but at that time, UCI was one of the top schools in the state for that program. They called it, and I believe they still call it, Criminology, Law, and Society. So when I got my acceptance letter for them, it was a big deal. I was like, there's no way. I thought I was just gonna, kind of stay close to home, not too far. But when I did get that acceptance letter, I told my mom, I'm like, Mom, sorry, I'm moving out. I'm not staying home. I need to cut the umbilical cord and explore and be an adult and independent. So I moved down to UCI, and I was there for a little over 2 years and got my bachelor's degree, again, in criminology, law, and society, and I minored in psychology and social behavior.
Oh, okay.
And from there, I knew, obviously, I wanted to become a police officer. It wasn't someone that like influenced me or that like mentored me to make me want to do it. I kind of was just always, again, like the very active type. And in my head, I thought, you know what, this is going to be a cool career, very action based. You get something different every day. That's how I imagined it. So I was actually going to stay in Southern California for after I graduated to pursue the career. But California rent prices were very expensive, and the job I had at the time wasn't paying me enough for me to be living comfortably. So I told my mom, hey, Mom, I'm moving back home. Moved back home to the Bay Area, and I just started applying to where I could. Obviously, I was very selective. I wasn't just going to apply to wherever. And it took me a while to hear back from a couple agencies, almost to the point where I was going to put myself through the police academy. And when I say put myself through, I mean pay for everything myself and be like a self-sponsor to then, while in the process, I can be applying to other agencies, or other agencies can come to the police academy and scout and look and see if they are interested in hiring me. It almost got to that point because I was like, there's no way, like I'm super qualified, like I have so much going for myself. So I did it, and I ended up getting hired on by my now agency fairly quickly. The process, I want to say, took me like 3 months at most, which is very fast compared to other people's experiences. And got through the academy, and here I am 6 years later. I hold a bunch of different ancillary assignments within my department, not just working patrol. So I'm a hostage negotiator. I work for our recruitment team. I work as an instructor for our arrest and control tactics. There's other various assignments that I have aside from patrol. And yeah, social media just kind of came with it eventually too. I wasn't planning on doing social media. I was just came across and I said, why not? And my law enforcement stuff was what took off. And I just ran with it. And it's been a couple years now. But of course, being not just a police officer, but a woman, plus considered a minority, now comes with hate, which it is what it is. But I think more so it's been positive. I've had a lot of positive feedback from especially other women of like inspiring them and thanking me for all the tips that I provided online. And I think that eventually reached out to some from the medical alert to then reach out to me. And I personally have never heard of medical alert. Because as all enforcement officers, we do a lot. It's not just enforcing the law, but now we're someone's like therapist. Now we're someone's, parent, so it's a lot that we do, but the CPR and first aid training that we do didn't mention medical alert, which I'm surprised because medical alert has been around for a long, long time. And they eventually just now started incorporating it. I'm like, okay, good. So my knowledge of when I first was reached out to was none. But now I see how valuable and helpful this could be. So I know how important it is for us first responders and us as police officers, since we're usually the first ones on scene and we need to assess of what's going on quickly to be able to provide aid and do what we can based off of our knowledge. We're not going to do something out of the scope of what we're trained. So we do what we can until fire and EMS show up and they'll take over. But definitely medic alert it's a game changer. And the word needs to get spread out a lot more.
That's awesome. Thank you for that background, because I have so many questions. I can kind of see your personality taking shape, like based on what you just told us about, like the house you grew up in and the go-getter mentality. And Shannon's daughter actually has like a similar interest. She just did like a criminal justice camp, so she may be like following in your footsteps in a sense.
Yeah, she came home from the camp and she said, I'm going to be on SWAT team. And I said, well, you have to be a police officer to be on SWAT team. No, I don't. But okay. No, you don't. Whatever. But she's a teenager, and so she's interested in all of that stuff. So I also noticed you said that you were one of 5 girls. I'm one of 4 girls. And I lived in Monterey for a little bit. So I'm familiar with the Bay Area.
Yeah, it's definitely, having no brothers was definitely a change. Very, very different to navigate with a bunch of women in a household.
Do any of you have, similar jobs, or are you the only one who kind of like took this role, like this career path? Honestly,
none of my sisters, their careers are like complete opposite of what I do. Mine's more like life on the edge, crazy stuff, and they are more like on the safer end, not as adventurous or whatnot, which it works for them. I'm not saying, I'm not like putting them down or anything, but yeah, no, I'm definitely on the opposite end of the spectrum when it comes to careers.
Just interesting because, like, you would think, oh, are you emulating? You have 4 sisters to look at. Are you emulating like one of them? But no, you kind of just chose your own path. You did your own thing, and follow it. And like you said, you're very goal oriented, goal getter. And so like you just followed that, and it, led you to law enforcement, and then, ultimately social media. So it's awesome. I love it. Very cool. All right. I want to talk about the campaign and kind of your impressions about it a little bit. And, I think now that you've shared some of your background, like we'll see some of these answers coming, but I'd love to just hear a little bit more. So tell me, what does being a part of this campaign mean to you? I know you've talked about kind of the awareness gap, but like what else inspired you to get involved with this campaign specifically?
For me specifically, I saw the potential of a great impact it would have on like families and individual lives. It's getting people aware of what the product or the company actually does is so important, because we as in police officers, we go to calls, whether it's like a lost child and they're nonverbal, or someone who's unconscious and not breathing, and we're trying to figure out what's going on. It's like what we start, like the seconds matter, it would make a whole big difference, honestly, as to our response and our care and what we would need to provide to this person or people in the situation. It can make, life or death. You never know. You really never know in this field. Every day's different. So I think making people, the community, aware and educating them as to how to go about things, I think is just really important. The social media now, just so many people have social media. It's easily accessible. So it's a no-brainer to me.
Love it. And is that kind of how you see your role, as far as being an everyday hero as part of this campaign? Is like your job is to spread this far and wide, amplify the message, because in your opinion, it has so much benefit to the, larger community or community at large?
No, yeah, of course. It's such a great tool that a lot of people, I wish, would know more about it. Like it's such a key thing, especially if you do have like underlying medical conditions or severe allergies. That's like, it would make all the difference.
Awesome. Love that. And, love your content. We've seen a lot of it. Love the stuff you've produced for this campaign, but also some of the other stuff. What kind of content do you think is resonating best with, your audience? And then how do you think that your audience is connecting with the message of the Everyday Heroes campaign?
Well, I've dabbled in a lot of different topics. I've done like mini vlogs of like my days off, to workout stuff, to informative like safety tips. For example, how some people on their cars, they'll put like a bumper sticker of a proud parent of an honor roll student at so-and-so school and stuff like that, and how that can be a very negative thing. I know you're very proud of your kid, but in the sense of like, there's pedophiles out there. So now they know where your kid goes to school. So now they're going to go to your school and just scope out all the kids there. Or even the window decals on your car shows you how many people are in that family. So they know, oh, this family has 3 kids. So now I can go to their house, follow them, go to their house, sit outside and just observe their day-to-day. Little stuff like that, safety tips. Just funny stuff that happens at work, relatable stuff. Honestly, it's kind of hard to tell because social media, it's like a hit or miss. Sometimes one topic will hit for a while and then you post again for the same topic and it just doesn't hit. But I think consistently more so what was helpful, and especially feedback that I've gotten from other people, were my interview tip series for when you are applying to a department. So the kind of questions that you will get asked on your oral board, I think that series of videos has gotten the most traction because I think of it as something of value to them that will obviously help them out. So I know a lot of people are like, I was taking so many notes and just like practicing out loud to make sure I got it right. And I get people thanking me of how useful and helpful those videos were. So I want to say probably those, but I've definitely dabbled and experimented with a lot of different videos, but probably that.
Awesome. I love that you're helping other people prepare to like join the industry, and by giving them like the benefit of your experience so they don't have to like maybe learn the hard lessons for themselves. You're like giving them the roadmap. That's really cool.
Yeah, because honestly, back when I was going through the process, which was 7.5 years ago, none of this was accessible. You know, yes, there was social media, but not as big as how it is now, clearly. And there was nothing for me to look up and give me tips and pointers and like a heads up of like, this is what you should expect. This is like how it's gonna go about. They would have like workshops and stuff that you would have to go in person, and then they'll be like death by PowerPoint of what to expect. But with the younger generation, obviously, again, social media is very easy, accessible. Their attention span is not very long, so you have to make it quick to the point and engaging for them to be like, okay, this makes sense, this is cool, or that was funny, or I can relate to that. So yeah.
So you're kind of a trailblazer in this regard, because like you didn't have this path laid out for you. You kind of like carved it for yourself. You know, do you see yourself as kind of a mentor to the next generation of aspiring law enforcement professionals?
You know, I never really looked at it in that way as being a mentor. I just kind of saw it as this is a need for people who really actually want to pursue a career. And to me, it was a no-brainer. Like, why not? Let me just put out free information, free for all, for people who really, really want it. But I guess it kind of is being a mentor to thousands and thousands of people. But I just thought of it as like a, you know, why not? Why, like, this is something that people especially struggle with when it comes to like oral board interviews, because it can be very intimidating. You know, it's just you on one side of the table, and then you have like 5 or so other people on the other side just staring you down and just watching you and just taking notes. You know, it can be very intimidating. So it's best to be prepared as much as you can for all info that you do know going in, instead of kind of going in blindly and guessing, trying to figure out what they're going to ask. So
have you seen, like, it in, you know, both in your time in law enforcement and now your time as like a social media influencer, and also obviously the crossover, have you seen more people interested in kind of joining the ranks of law enforcement? Do you feel like maybe the interest level's dropping off, or has it kind of stayed the same in your opinion?
I would say over the years, recently, I feel like the interest has picked up a little bit compared to, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. And kudos to the people who still want to do it, because the career itself is difficult. It has its moments. It has, you know, every state is different in how people in California, the laws and stuff are very strict on police officers and what we can do. So I would say it's been growing a little more. I don't know if it's because of social media or what the case is, but I would say I've seen a little more interest recently compared to years ago.
Yes. I think you should take credit for it. We don't need to know the answer necessarily. Is it the fact that like you're the first one on the scene for something like that, or it's your job to, for lack of a better term, resolve a situation like that? Is that what makes you proud to be a part of the first responder community, or is it something additional?
I think to me, it's just part of the job. It just comes naturally. Like you have to do it. It isn't something like additional. Yeah. It does like make me feel good that like I know what I'm doing. I know what I need to do to try to save this person's life, and do what you can, no matter what the outcome is gonna be. But I just see it as like just something, it's part of my job. I just have to do it. It's not something that like I like always pat myself on the back for. It's like expected of you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, you're like springing into action like a superhero, but to you, you're just like, oh, it's just another day. Like it's like you.
Yeah, and some people are like would probably be like, oh my god, like this is crazy. Like what in the world, and just won't be able to function in chaos. But because we're exposed to it so often, it's just like our normal. Like, yeah, I know what I need to do. Like, it's it's normal.
Is your this is not a question that I have here, but I'm just curious. Is your downtime, like the things you do for fun, are they equally as like adrenaline filled, or do you secretly like to knit or something like that?
I mean, my downtime kind of looks the same, and it's really just I work out a lot, whether it's like weightlifting or I go to jujitsu. But my extracurricular activities, if I want to be like doing something out of my normal day-to-day off agenda, I will go jump out of a plane if I could. I have, but I will do it. I'll do it again.
What I figured is like your way of relaxing is like skydiving and wingsuit. Like, okay, I got it. That's awesome. Just like how can medic alert, in your opinion, make a difference in emergencies? Obviously, that scenario, it's probably not going to make a huge difference, but other things you encounter, like how do you see it making a difference in those emergencies?
This family wanted to report their autistic son missing. And I have contacted this family before for a different case. So I knew the son. I knew what he looked like. I knew where he was on the spectrum. He wasn't very verbal. So when he went missing, obviously everyone who was working was like, we need to find this kid. So we're going to places that we think he might be, because I think he left through a side gate on his scooter. And if I didn't know this kid or didn't know literally nothing about him, I would be a little more concerned as to like, because anything can happen. They could have get hit by a car, they could have gotten kidnapped, they just thinking the worst. But I ended up walking, because their neighborhood has different cut throughs and like walkways. So I was like, let me get out of my patrol car and like just walk. And part of this neighborhood had like a little mini park, like super, super, super small. And it was already dark. So that was another concern as well. It was already nighttime. And I go flash my flashlight and I'm looking and I see something just like, whoosh. And it scared me because I was not expecting that. I was like, what was that? I flashed my flashlight again, and it's the kid. And it's there, and he has his little scooter off to the side, and he's obviously like kind of freaking out a little and like going back and forth, and he's scared of me because I'm a stranger. I'm in full uniform. The uniform itself can probably look pretty intimidating. So I'm looking at him and I'm like, hey, like, it's okay, like, come over here. And he's just like keeping his distance way far away. But if we had never gotten that call at all, like they didn't realize he was missing, which does happen sometimes. You don't realize he's missing, and I never met him in that situation, I would have obviously gotten up to him and seen, like, does he have a bracelet or anything, like a medical bracelet to scan to get more info on him, to help him out. Because in something like that, that would have been very, very useful, because we do get like missing autistic kids. We get elderly a lot. We get a lot of those elderly people who wander away from their home and they speak a language that we don't speak. And we try to use a translator on the phone, and they're like, the translator is like, I don't even understand them. I don't know what language it is. Like, I'm trying, but so whether it's a necklace or a bracelet, medical or stuff like that would help resolve any issues very, very fast, like much quicker than it would take us if they didn't.
Wow. I'm just thinking, because like Medical Alert, I think, talked to us on the last call that they're talking about like releasing this product that has an AirTag like included in it for like exactly the scenarios you're describing. And it would just, it seems like you're doing everything you can to locate that kid in his neighborhood, but it would only like make your job easier if you had like even more tools and resources to, reacquaint that kid or somebody's elderly relative with their family. Wow, it's an incredible story. And I think it's because you said it's because you know the family and like knew the community that you were able to like ultimately resolve that, because you like have ingratiated yourself to the community. I love that you use like your just day-to-day and life experience to inform content that you think like other people will benefit from. Like that you're not like reaching for topics. You're just like, oh, this is something that's important to me. This is probably important to other people. I like how authentic that, and that was definitely a theme in watching your content. Like there's an authenticity here, like we're not glamorizing anything. We're not, coloring thing. It is authentic. It was great.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of stuff that I think is very like common knowledge or common sense isn't. So when I think of little, because I see it all the time on the job of like, oh wow, like that's not safe, like, but then you put it out on the internet and people are like, wow, I didn't think of it that way, or I didn't know, like that's a great idea, I shouldn't do that. So it's, you never know. To me, something would be like, yeah, duh, of course, but then to other people you're like, oh well. So that's why I don't even second guess things. If I think of something, I'm like, you know what, it's probably a good idea to tell people, even if they may know it or if they don't, but you never know, so might as well just say it. And some people, it's surprising.
I mean, I love it because you taught me something just on this call about like the bumper stickers and the, the ones that show how many kids. Like I don't have any of that on my car, but I never thought about how much information those are broadcasting to the world, like inadvertently. So yeah, I just from like this conversation, I learned a safety tip that I never would have thought of because it's just not in my frame of reference.
Yeah.
I have volleyball mom on one corner and archery mom on the other, and I figured nobody's gonna mess with me because my kids are trained.
That's actually that's the last question I have, because you've told us a lot, but what is your advice for someone like Shannon's daughter or someone else who is thinking about pursuing a career in, law enforcement or, public service in general? Like you're on the front line, so tell us what they should know.
Honestly, the job is a lot more than what you think it is. We do a lot. So I think above it all is to be mentally strong, because your mind can do a whole lot more than what your body is telling you. So for example, like if you're working out and your body's like, okay, I'm done, but your brain is like, no, you can do 5 more, and you will do 5 more. You just have to be mentally strong, because it's not just the people who you deal with in the public. It can be your own coworkers. You need to know how to stand up for yourself and know how, not just know how to take criticism or know how to take orders, but be able to delegate and tell people what to do or what you need them to do, or ask them to do something. Because it's a team effort. It's a collaborative effort to do a lot of stuff. You can't do it all on your own. It's impossible. You have to be comfortable of taking a leadership role and trying to accomplish, the ultimate goal. You definitely have to be disciplined too. You can't just be the person who is giving people a hard time or is lazy. You have to be on top of your stuff. You need to train outside of work, not just what your job requires you on a yearly basis. And I think just remembering your why as to why you joined in the first place and what keeps you going, because you're gonna have a lot of hard days where you show up and you're like, I really do not want to be here. But it's, don't let it carry on to the next day. It's one or two bad days maybe. So you just have to be able to push past it and know better things will come, and just be receptive of trying to learn more stuff, because even 6 years now for me, like there's still stuff I don't know, and there will continue to be stuff I don't know, but I'm being open-minded and willing to learn more things on the job, because it's going to make me a better officer and it's going to help my coworkers out for whatever they need. There's a lot I can say, but
That was awesome though. Like, resonates with me. Mental toughness, grit, growth mindset, like all of that. Like you're speaking to my parenting soul right now. Did you come equipped with all of that from your upbringing, or did you learn a lot of that since entering this field?
Absolutely not. How I was prior to becoming a police officer to now, it's like night and day.
Really?
I was a very shy, like passive person. I wasn't the type to want to be like fighting people. I would if I needed to, but I wouldn't. I'd just be like, relax, like whatever, like not go out of my way to volunteer as like first person to try something out. I wasn't put in positions to tell people what to do. I was very like, you tell me what you need. But obviously I went from type B personality to a type A in this field, because how I was before, I was not going to survive this career if I kept being how I was, because it will eat you alive. People will read your body language, read the vibes you're giving off. Like you need to be in control and like how you speak to people and know your place. You know, you can't just let people overpower you and let them run the show. Obviously, it depends on the scenario, but it's, you know, I'm a completely different person. And I'm not saying it like it's a bad thing, or because everyone grows. Like, you know, everyone after a couple years and experiences and stuff, people change. But I'm definitely not the same person at all from when I first started to now.
Wow. Okay. So like went through the evolutions. It's like going into this career field. It's amazing. I would not have ever seen you as like shy and timid when you were saying that. Like that you were a woman. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I was always still like very into like sports and stuff, and very like organized, and I need to get my stuff together. I need to, you know, that's still the same. But in terms of like being like the assertive person and whatnot, no, that was not me whatsoever.
How interesting. Okay. Cool. Shannon, did you have anything that you wanted to ask or discuss?
So have you, I'm sure you're familiar with the show like On Patrol Live. So you know about that show? So as a police officer, I took like a CPA class at my local police department, and I heard what they had to say about that show, but I'm curious because you're in this influencer area. What do you think about shows like that that portray this day-to-day life as a police officer?
So I'm not a big TV person, so I haven't really fully watched shows like Patrol Live or The Rookie. I've heard people mention The Rookie or stuff like that. I feel like they pick and choose. They pick and choose what they show, and sometimes it's realistic. A lot of the times it's not. You know, we do a lot of paperwork stuff. Like if someone gets arrested for DUI, there's so many forms you have to fill out, and that's the like boring part of the job. And you have to write a report that takes you like an hour or so to write. I feel like when it comes to shows, I think they want to show like the exciting and the foot pursuits and the vehicle pursuits and like people fighting or people talking crap to you. But it's not like that all the time at all. You know, you'll get your calls of like, my neighbor put their garbage bins out on the street and it's not garbage day, and they're just trying to save a parking spot and they don't want anyone to park in front of their house. You know, there's literally calls like that. So it's definitely interesting to see their take on TV about the job, but a lot of times it's not like that 24/7.
There is one specific clip, and I think it went viral, but I watched it. I don't watch it all the time, but I watched it this Saturday night, and they did a traffic stop, and it was this lady, and she had a raccoon in the car, and so they had her out of the car. Did you see it? And the raccoon was playing with the crack pipe.
Oh yeah.
It was so funny, and it was like unbelievable. But I wondered if that was just like atypical, or if you've had encounters like that. Like, I'm sure you've seen some crazy stuff.
Definitely. I mean, there's stuff that happens on the job that you just have to laugh. Like, you can't help but not laugh. Like, is this really happening, or did they just say that? Scenarios exactly like that have not happened to me, but I would definitely laugh because what are the odds? Your raccoon just took out your pipe and
knew what to do. And knew what to do with the hands.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of scenarios where, you know, you just can't explain the insanity.
Oh, it's incredible. That's incredible.